Can you believe that somewhere on this planet there are men who have not one, but 100 wives? And it's perfectly normal? In these corners of the world, love isn't measured by exclusivity, but by endurance. Loyalty isn't a boundary, it's a test of strength. Here, marriage isn't always about romance, it's about heritage, faith, survival, and sometimes power. Imagine deep within the lush jungles of Central Africa, drums echo through the night as a tribal chief steps out, surrounded by dozens of wives in bright traditional garments, children running like flocks of birds beneath the moonlight. Meanwhile, across the golden deserts of Arabia, in palaces shimmering under the sun, another man divides his time, wealth, and affection among 4 wives, each with her own home, her own universe. To the outside world, it may seem unthinkable, but within these societies, it's a symbol of prestige, authority, and devotion. From the red-dusted villages of Cameroon to the quiet Islamic towns of Iran, from the wide-open farmlands of Tanzania to the gilded palaces of Brunei, we'll journey through cultures where marriage extends beyond 2 souls and becomes the heartbeat of an entire community. Each stop on this journey unveils a deeper question. What does love truly mean when it no longer belongs to just one person? Today, Fascinating Discoveries invites you to step inside the world of polygamous societies, a world both controversial and captivating, where the lines between love, power, and faith blur into a reflection of what it means to be human. And our story begins right here in the heart of Africa, in Cameroon, where having 100 wives is not a myth, but a way of life. Number 10. Cameroon, the chief and his 100 wives. Deep in the heart of Central Africa, where rainforests meet the red sands of the savannah and mountains rise like ancient guardians, lies a land known proudly as Cameroon, Little Africa. But what truly defines Cameroon is not its geography, it's its marriages. Here, polygamy is legal and celebrated, especially among tribal leaders and the wealthy. A man's prestige is often measured not by his words or wealth, but by the number of wives he can support. In remote villages, stories tell of chiefs who have taken up to 100 wives, each living in her own hut, raising children, tending crops, and managing her share of the household. It's a scene that feels almost mythical, a kingdom of women orbiting one man, like stars around a tribal sun. Yet behind this grandeur lies a legacy of history, survival, and strategy. In pre-colonial times, polygamy was a form of political alliance. Each marriage united families, built trust, and strengthened labor forces. Every wife meant more hands to farm, more children to carry the lineage, and more ties to secure the tribe's stability. But as the world modernized, this tradition began to fade. Economic hardship, education, and Western ideals have redefined what marriage means in modern Cameroon. Young men today find that wealth is measured not by how many wives they have, but by how well they can care for one. And in the quiet rhythm of changing times, one question lingers in the air. Is it power that drives a man to take many wives, or the weight of tradition he cannot escape? Number 9. Tajikistan, the scar of war and the law of consent. Far from Africa, hidden among the icy peaks of the Pamir Mountains, lies a land both breathtaking and broken. Tajikistan, where the scars of war run deeper than the valleys themselves. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, this small nation descended into a brutal civil war. And when the fighting stopped, men were gone, and women remained. Across villages, people would whisper that for every man left alive, there were 4 or 5 women, widows, single mothers, or young women who would never know marriage. Out of that silence, polygamy quietly returned. Not as a desire, but as a survival mechanism. Officially, it's forbidden by law. But culturally, under the enduring shadow of Islam, Tajik men may take up to 4 wives if they can treat them equally. Yet modern regulation adds a twist. The first wife must give her written consent. On paper, it empowers women. In reality, it traps them in a quiet dilemma: to share a husband or to live alone in poverty. For many Tajik women, especially in rural areas, it's not about surrender, it's about endurance. They choose shared marriage not out of weakness, but out of strength. The strength to survive, to raise children, to find dignity amid loss. In this land where men are few and memories of war still whisper through the mountains, love is no longer about choice. It's about endurance. Here, affection is measured not by passion, but by persistence, by the courage to keep living when life itself has taken so much away. And as the cold wind moves through the valleys of Pamir, it carries with it a question that echoes through generations. When love becomes survival, can the heart still remain free? Number 8. South Africa. Tradition meets the law. South Africa, the land where the sun kisses the endless ocean, where modern skyscrapers rise beside ancient villages, and where the past still breathes beneath the surface. It's a nation of contrasts, of color, language, and tradition. But among its many faces, one custom still fascinates and divides. In South Africa, men can legally have more than one wife. Under the Recognition of Customary Marriages Act of 1998, men from indigenous communities such as the Zulu or Xhosa can marry multiple wives, as long as they follow ancestral customs and obtain legal approval. But in today's society, this isn't as simple as it sounds. Before a man takes another wife, his first wife must consent, and a court must approve a formal marriage contract ensuring fairness and transparency. This balance between tradition and law makes South Africa's polygamy unique, a delicate dance between culture and modern regulation. In Zulu belief, having multiple wives is a sign of status and responsibility, the mark of a man capable of leading and protecting his family. Yet, in modern times, the practice sparks controversy. Supporters see it as a way to preserve cultural heritage. Critics see it as a symbol of inequality. The popular reality show Uthando Nestembu, portraying the life of a modern polygamous family, has ignited public debate. Some call it a celebration of culture. Others, a step backward for women's rights. And as traditional drums echo through the Golden Plains, one can't help but wonder, is this a triumph of identity, or a quiet conflict between the old world and the new? In the warm African dusk, South Africa stands at the crossroads of past and present, a place where love is both a choice of the heart and a matter of law. And this story is only the beginning. Number 7. Malaysia. Love measured in equality. Malaysia, a land where golden mosque domes gleam beneath the tropical sun, and the call to prayer rises above the hum of modern cities. A nation of many faces, Malay, Chinese, Indian, yet bound together by the spirit of Islam, which shapes every rule of love and marriage. Here, Islamic law allows men to marry up to 4 wives, but few ever dare to. Because the condition is not desire, it's absolute equality. A man who wishes to marry another wife must prove that he can support all of them equally, financially, emotionally, and spiritually. If he gifts a car to one wife, the others must receive the same. If he takes one on a European holiday, the rest must enjoy vacations of equal worth. In Malaysia, love is not just emotion. It's a duty of fairness and honor. Each wife is recognized as a rightful partner, not a shadow in another's story. Those who live this way are often seen as men of high status, for only the wealthy and wise can maintain such balance. In the quiet neighborhoods of Kuala Lumpur, it's not rare to see a man walking hand in hand with his children, some from different mothers, yet all united by one family name. Still, beneath that calm surface lies an invisible weight, the burden of justice within love. To love many may be easy, to treat all equally, that is the true test of manhood. And in this culture where law, faith, and affection intertwine, Malaysia teaches us something profound. Sometimes, marriage is not measured by passion, but by fairness. Number 6. Tanzania. Farms, faith, and families. Tanzania, the land of endless horizons, where the Serengeti breathes with life and Mount Kilimanjaro rises like a silent guardian above the clouds. In this place of raw beauty and unforgiving nature, people survive through faith, work, and family, sometimes through many families. Here, polygamy is legal, recognized by the Marriage Act of 1971. And among the Sukuma, the largest ethnic group in the country, it's not just tradition, it's a way of survival. In rural Tanzania, the more wives a man has, the more hands he gains for his farmland, the more children to carry his name, the more stability his household earns. Marriage here is not merely emotional, it's an economic alliance where love intertwines with labor. But modern Tanzania is beginning to reckon with the cost of this custom. President Samia Suluhu Hassan once cautioned men, "Only marry more if you can afford to provide." In a country where agriculture feeds the nation, multiple marriages can mean both wealth and burden. For many, polygamy is less about desire and more about duty, a reflection of faith, fertility, and survival. In Muslim villages scattered across the savannah, people believe that as long as a man treats his wives equally, multiple marriages honor divine will and community harmony. Yet, as cities grow and education spreads, younger generations are beginning to ask, is polygamy still a tradition or just a relic of necessity? As the evening light fades across the plains of Serengeti, laughter of children echoes between the acacia trees, and smoke from cooking fires curls into the twilight sky. In that moment, Tanzania reveals its truth, a land where love, labor, and belief are woven together into the fabric of life itself. Number 5. Qatar, the desert's code of equality. Qatar, a small yet powerful nation on the Arabian Peninsula, where golden dunes stretch endlessly and glass towers shimmer beneath the desert sun. It is a land where immense wealth meets unwavering faith, where the modern world coexists with the ancient laws of Islam. Here, polygamy is legal, but it is not indulgence. It is a divine rule governed by discipline and equality. Under Sharia law, a man may marry up to 4 wives, but only if he can provide for them equally in wealth, affection, and time. This is not a privilege of desire, but a burden of responsibility. In Qatari society, each wife often has her own home, her own income, and her own schedule with her husband. Everything is divided with precision, as if measured by the sands of the desert itself. To the people of Qatar, this is not lust, it is honor, a reflection of strength, faith, and prestige. Those who can maintain such balance are often among the elite, men of means, education, and religious devotion. Yet, beneath this image of order and abundance lies a quieter truth. Women still live under the weight of cultural expectations, loyalty, modesty, and submission to tradition. They may have comfort, but not always choice. In the shimmering heat of the Arabian desert, as the call to prayer rises above the skyline, Qatar stands as a paradox, a place where wealth and worship meet, and where love itself must obey the law. Here, Affection is measured not by passion, but by fairness. A desert's code of equality, carved into both faith and sand. Number 4. Pakistan. Permission before passion. In Pakistan, a land of magnificent mosques and the haunting call to prayer that echoes through the skies of Lahore, love is not merely an emotion, it's a legal obligation. Here, the heart must wait for the law to speak first. Under the Muslim Family Ordinance of 1961, any man who wishes to marry another wife must obtain written consent from his current wife, as well as formal approval from a local arbitration council. Only then is the marriage considered lawful. And if he violates this rule, the law is clear: imprisonment or fines. In 2017, a man in Lahore was sentenced to 6 months in jail for marrying a second wife without his first wife's permission, a story that reignited national debate. In Pakistan, polygamy is not simply a matter of love or faith. It's a delicate web of law, religion, and social justice. A man may love, but his love must pass through the corridors of legality before it reaches the heart. The system was designed not to suppress men, but to protect women, to ensure equality within the bounds of faith. Yet, this balance has its contradictions. The line between freedom and obedience, between choice and duty, is often blurred. For some, these laws represent progress. For others, they are a chain that binds the private realm. In a society where family honor carries sacred weight, love learns to exist within boundaries, and permission becomes not a limitation, but a mark of respect and structure. Because here, in Pakistan, as they say, love must pass through law before it finds its way to the heart. Number 3. Iran, love under the shadow of law. Iran, the land of turquoise domes and desert winds, where the scent of incense lingers in the air and the call to prayer echoes across centuries. Here, Sharia law shapes not only faith, but also the boundaries of love. Under Islamic regulation, a man may marry up to 4 wives, provided he treats them all fairly, at least as the law requires. But behind that notion of fairness lies a shadow. Many men can pressure their first wife to consent, or bypass the rule entirely through a practice called muta, or temporary marriage, which can last from a few hours to several years. On paper, it's legal. In reality, it's a contract disguised as devotion. For many Iranian women, this represents more than inequality. It's a wound carved by centuries of silence. As one Iranian activist said, "Our bodies are not contracts, they are lives." Her words echo through the streets of Tehran, where modern women live between 2 worlds, one bound by ancient law and another driven by the hunger for freedom. In today's Iran, love and marriage have become a quiet battlefield, a struggle between old law and new conscience, between divine authority and human desire. The practice of temporary marriage, once rooted in faith, now stands as a mirror of contradiction, revealing how belief can both protect and imprison. And as the sun sinks behind the mountains of Persia, golden mosques glow softly against the night, a haunting reminder that in this land, love must find its way not just through the heart, but through the shadow of law. Number 2. Yemen, between faith and poverty. Yemen, the poorest country on the Arabian Peninsula, where endless deserts and years of war have turned survival into a daily struggle. It's a land of dusty mountains, ancient markets echoing with the call to prayer, and people who believe that faith is the only thing they can never lose. Here, polygamy is legal, but rare, practiced by only 2 to 7% of the population. Not because it's forbidden, but because poverty forbids it. In a country where most families rely on farming and humanitarian aid, Even supporting one household is a challenge, let alone many. Yet, in a society still shaped by deep-rooted gender traditions, some men take additional wives, not out of desire, but out of fear of losing their lineage. When a first wife cannot bear children, marrying a younger second wife is seen as a way to secure the family's future. Weddings unfold with drums and blessings, but beneath the joy lie lives bound by expectation. For many Yemeni women, marriage is not a choice, it's an obligation. They are taught that obedience is virtue, and faith is the thread holding families together through hardship. Polygamy in Yemen is not merely a religious practice, it's a complex blend of faith, survival, and male authority. In a land torn apart by conflict, where crumbling homes stand beside the minarets of mosques, love becomes fragile, like sand carried by the desert wind. And in this balance between faith and poverty, multiple marriages reveal more than custom or law. They expose the human instinct to cling to hope, even when everything else has been taken away. Number 1. Brunei, royal privilege and religious duty. Brunei, a small yet wealthy Islamic kingdom in Southeast Asia, wrapped in tropical rainforests and shimmering oil wealth. But beyond the golden domes of its mosques and the opulent halls of its royal palaces lies a society where faith and power intertwine. Here, polygamy is legal, but not for everyone. According to Islamic law, a man may take additional wives only if he meets 3 conditions: the consent of his current wife, proof of financial capability, and approval from the Islamic court. These are not mere formalities. They are tests of morality, discipline, and devotion. In Brunei's deeply religious and hierarchical society, marriage with multiple wives is less about romance and more about status and duty. Those who can maintain such marriages often belong to the upper class, wealthy businessmen or members of the royal family, where taking another wife is seen not just as a privilege, but as a religious and social responsibility. Each wife is treated as a mistress of her own home, with equal financial support, dignity, and honor ensured by law and tradition. Yet behind this gilded harmony lies quiet restraint. For in Brunei, acceptance is often seen as faith, and silence as respect. This delicate balance between religion, hierarchy, and honor defines the very essence of Bruneian marriage. As one local proverb says, "Here, marriage is not just love, it's a reflection of faith, order, and devotion." And when the sun sets behind the magnificent Istana Nurul Iman, the world's largest royal residence, one realizes that in Brunei, marriage is more than a union of hearts. It is a prayer woven into the fabric of faith. From the dense jungles of Central Africa, where tribal chiefs may have 100 wives, to the golden deserts of Arabia, where men marry multiple women as a sacred duty. From the struggling villages of Yemen, where marriage means survival, to the grand palaces of Brunei, where polygamy is a mark of faith and prestige. This journey has carried us across continents, through time and tradition, only to arrive at one simple truth: the human heart. Across cultures, love takes on many forms. Sometimes it's freedom, sometimes it's duty, and sometimes it's a bond that cannot be broken. In a world where law and religion still define the meaning of marriage, we see a paradox of humanity. Different rules, same emotions. Love may be measured by power in Cameroon, by faith in Qatar, by fairness in Malaysia, or by endurance in Tajikistan. Yet beneath all these differences beats the same pulse, a fragile but persistent human heart. Because beneath every law, every tradition, lie emotions too familiar to us all: loyalty, desire, faith, and the fear of being alone. We can look at polygamy and ask, is it freedom or a cultural chain? Is it a choice or a destiny written long before birth? There are no simple answers, only people, stories, and the ways they learn to love within the boundaries of their world. The truth is, this planet doesn't need judgment. It needs understanding. For it is our differences that make the world fascinating, mysterious, complex, and deeply human. When we choose to look at other cultures not with arrogance, but with curiosity, we begin to see not just them, but ourselves. Because hidden within these stories of marriage, power, and faith lies our shared reflection of love's complexity, of the search for belonging, and of what it means to be human. This journey might be ending, but the world still holds countless wonders, untold stories, unseen faces, unspoken truths. If this exploration touched something within you, stay with us. At Fascinating Discoveries, we travel beyond borders, beyond judgment, into the heart of humanity. Subscribe now and continue the journey to discover just how diverse, how extraordinary, and how truly fascinating our world can be.